Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's February 21st, 2016, and this week we're going to do a lesson on lead guitar interval soloing patterns. And this week's question was sent in from Steve. He's out in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he wrote in with this email: "One problem for me these days is how all my solos end up sounding the same. The way I'm using scales is what I think is my problem. Is there a way to play solos more by different patterns? I've watched your video on simple soloing techniques where you mention lead guitar soloing patterns. Are these like intervals? You mentioned intervals too. Could you help me here?" From Steve G. in Grand Rapids, Michigan, USA. Well, thanks for writing in, Steve. What you're asking about is something I tend to think of as soloing with just interval shapes. And the different interval distances we have in a scale will spread the notes into many different and unique harmonic and melodic sounds. These distances get applied as patterns from the scale, and they'll give us a number of really cool sounding guitar runs in the end. The only thing is that this idea overall doesn't generally produce very connected or smooth flowing melody lines overall. Instead, these interval based patterns, they'll more often than not just end up sounding kind of choppy sounding, almost mostly working much better as a connecting phrase of some kind. They're even good as flashy attention getting ideas during a guitar solo. So just let's get things started here by running through some examples that I have for you of these ideas. Well, let's begin by running through some ideas to demonstrate these interval soloing patterns on the neck. My first idea is going to apply some minor second intervals taken from within an E natural minor scale pattern located on the 7th position from the 5th string root. So first of all, here's how this pattern idea sounds. Now, in thinking about how this interval idea was created, all we're really doing is breaking out those minor second intervals from within the tones of the 2nd and 3rd scale degrees, as well as the 5th and 6th scale degrees of the 7th position E natural minor scale shape. And the concept behind doing this with really any scale is quite straightforward. It can be applied in many different ways, and it's just a fast and easy method to make up all kinds of interval licks from any scale pattern. And once you get these things down, because they're so intervallic, you can basically go and move them all around the neck. You could start where I have it written out on, maybe move it down incrementally. Just move it around, come up with some different ideas as well, and just add this kind of approach into how that you're organizing things on your neck. Another really cool interval idea is sliding intervals along the guitar with consistent intervals played along the neck laterally. Now, in the next two examples I have, I'm going to use intervals of both diatonic thirds as well as perfect fifths to slide along the neck with an interval soloing pattern that can be used to connect positions along the fingerboard. Now, first, here's how this initial idea I have that works out of the E minor scale once again. And it's going to be using diatonic thirds. It goes like this. So we're starting off there doing a major third up into 2 minor thirds, and then we have a final major third that takes us into the top note. There's a high B at the 12th fret of 2nd string. Here it is again. So it's really kind of an interesting sound. We're just using the diatonic thirds that are found within this E minor scale. And I'm just kind of working them out, in a more lateral sense between those positions. And you can do a lot of these kinds of ideas. This is just sort of a starter for you. You can go in a lot of directions with this. In fact, what we're going to do next is take this interval sliding effect and we're going to use it to rapidly connect multiple fingerboard positions here in another way with perfect fifth intervals. Again, we're just going to stick in E minor on the top end of the scale. So we're going to be using some higher notes out of the E minor scale. And we're going to travel the length of the first and second strings between 7th position up into 12th position. And here's how this idea sounds. So what we're doing there is we're sliding forward on the second string. We have 7 to 8. We're grabbing the 5th interval at the 10th fret there. Moving up next, 8 to 10. And grabbing the 5th interval again at the 12th fret. And one more yet. We're going 10 to 12. Grabbing the 14th fret. And then at the top there, we're just doing a slide. Finishing on that F sharp there. So these are just, a couple of good sliding interval ideas to help get you going. But, take what I've done here with these layouts and try to apply them within other scales on the neck. They not only work to connect scales laterally in a really smooth way, but they also make for some great sounding, flashier speed style licks in your next guitar solo. Well, before we wrap up, I have one more idea to run through. It works on the principle of doing a consecutive run of scale tones that are going to be broken into pieces. And once they're all chopped up, they're going to take on a very different sound as opposed to a typical linear run of scale tones. And in the end, produce an effect of a sound of almost like two separated interval ideas. So before I describe this sound any further, because it's kind of difficult to put into words, I'm just going to play the lick so you can hear how something like this sounds. Here it is again, a little slower. One more time. And as you can tell, there's a linear run of notes going on here. Basically, to the run, we've got an A and a B and a C within, again, an E minor scale up on the higher end of the neck. But since I've broken up the run to function between repeating B and C tones with the A coming in as ladder idea, as well as the higher G and F sharp that takes place at the end there, kind of acting as upper and lower intervals against the B and C, it produces a really cool effect. And you can do this with any group of linear tones. You can break them apart like this. So it's a very interesting idea. I'd highly suggest going into other areas of the neck. I could even stay in this area of the neck and do something with that going. Something like that. You can imagine, just taking these as a cycle, maybe through different, organized areas of the guitar fingerboard, and just come up with a number of different kinds of concepts of how this could be applied. And this is just one idea. You could take this into dozens of different directions. Patterns on the guitar fingerboard for scales and for all the guitar licks that we play will end up being one of the guitarist's most important assets for either composing or improvising melodies. And it's important to understand that every guitar player will get really good at playing their own favorite patterns. So, the more time that we can spend inventing these interval soloing patterns, the more guitar licks that we're going to get good at for future use in, playing all of our solos and melody work, compositions, anything we're really doing. So take what we've learned here and start making up your own patterns like this. Once you have a good group of these interval ideas, you're going to find dozens and dozens of opportunities to apply them in your own music. Well, anyways, that's about all the time that I have for today. As always, I want to say thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if at all possible, consider a small donation to help fund the Guitar Lessons project here. Every little bit helps along the way. Otherwise, have yourself a really great week, and I will catch up with you next time. Bye for now. I'd like to take a moment to mention another guitar video lesson project I've started. It's a unique guitar lesson approach that I'm doing online, and it's not like anything I've done before. Best of all, it's 100% free. I've called this approach Guitar Micro Lessons, and they're a great way to learn a few new licks or riffs or chord shapes each week. Now, these Guitar Micro Lessons are quick and easy to learn from. They're very short, with each lesson running between only 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in length. They're published to YouTube from Monday to Thursday on my other Guitar Blog Update YouTube channel, and you can either subscribe to that channel to guarantee getting each new episode, or just visit the channel whenever it's convenient for you and check out the new micro lessons in the playlist on the Guitar Blog Update channel's homepage. The Music Reading Phase 1 ebook has over 30 pages of comprehensive project lessons covering the entire fifth reading position on the guitar. Music reading charts and drills will work to help students memorize the placement of the fifth position notes, including important sharp and flat tones. Several original and classic pieces of sheet music will help students to gain a solid understanding for this region of the neck. Rhythm studies, duration examples, plus song and location drills along with 19 MP3 audio tracks makes this one of the best music reading courses available online. Music Reading Phase 1 is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com.